Hey everyone. Do this real quick. Yeah, do this real quickly while I've got the opportunity. You know, earlier on the last animated girl profiles Confidential, I talked about Mona Lisa. I talked about Ninjara, and as I just let slip right there, here to talk about on this next one, kind of do a TMNT deal here with Mona Lisa. Now, as you probably know, there are two different takes of Mona Lisa, two different incarnations. One, of course, as you see in front of you, is the not 1987, but basically the 1990-91 version from the original cartoon series from the fourth season. Um, she premiered in the fourth season as a potential love interest for Raphael, and as I think I mentioned in the last video when I was talking about Ninjara. Oh, I'm sorry, my finger hit the mic there. As I was talking about Ninjara, according to several sources, um, Mona Lisa was supposed to appear again in the series. She was actually supposed to appear in the eighth season, the first of the, as they call them, the Red Sky seasons. She was supposed to appear there as part of, I guess, as part of the Turtle team. Maybe just make a comeback. I mean, I could see her maybe being part, as I think I mentioned in the Ninjara video. I think I could see her as part of being part of the, no, well, not Ninjara, but I think I said this when I did the video that was a response to Andre Meadows' little question that he asked fans at the end of his TMNT review of the recent episode that aired this past week. And I kind of look at the fact that I think Mona Lisa was going to be brought back in the Cry of Havoc episode. That's what I think she was going to show up in, because you had all these different mutants rallying to serve Titanus. I think that's what the villain's name was, and I'm guessing she was supposed to be part of that. But in a sense, she might be the one that would have helped. Originally, I think might have been the one that helped Raphael and Donatello escape, and then help them meet up with the others. I'm assuming. I'm not saying that would have happened. I'm not saying that would have happened whatsoever. It's just an assumption that might have been the direction they were going to go in. But according to rumors, like I said, she was supposed to come back in the eighth season, basically the first of the three final seasons of TMNT, and basically the first of the Red Sky seasons. That's what I'm assuming. I'm not trying to say she was going to, but if you think about it, especially that middle portion of the season, it kind of makes a little sense that she might have been part of that, especially the Havoc episodes. If you catch my drift, I think she would have been a part of that in some way. I'm not saying she would have been, but it's a guess. You can only speculate and guess because, from what I understand, they dropped the idea for Mona Lisa in the eighth season, and instead of getting her in another season or the last season, we instead got Carter. So, well, there you go. Not really much can be done about that. But here's what's funny though. This was before the internet really started taking off and everything. And since that time, almost for 20 something years, maybe less, fans had been demanding Mona Lisa come back. Didn't matter what incarnation. They demanded it when the 2003 to 2009 series came around. They wanted her back then. And I think maybe there was a hint that they wanted her back during the next mutation, but not much. It was mostly the 2003 series that the talk of, hey, what characters do you want to see get brought back for this new one on 4Kids? And her name was always being brought up, but the only problem was this incarnation of TMNT was more loosely based on the original Mirage ideas, and it wasn't some kind of mixture. So that's what I'm thinking. And So that's why I'm thinking why we didn't have Mona Lisa there. It was mostly because that was more mirage based and adapted loosely than the original 80s to 90s cartoon. And I understand a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's a fact. It's an obvious fact that was the reason. Again, we may not like it, and again, I don't blame people for that. To me, that was the obvious reason. But like I said, to me, that was the obvious reason for her not coming back. That to me was the most obvious reason. But like I said, I think I'm not totally sure. I think that's when the talk was starting of, hey, you need to get her back, for the show. You need to bring her into the show, and they never did. And that isn't until until Nickelodeon got the rights, and it was like, yeah, you got to put her in. And even though it took 3 full seasons for it to occur, the 4th season saw the debut of Mona Lisa. But I think what surprised a lot of people was the fact that this Mona Lisa, this incarnation, was going to be totally different. But I think anybody that's followed the series, followed the show on Nickelodeon, expects that, or had expected that. Like, yeah, they're going to bring Mona Lisa in, but she might have a different background. She might have a different origin. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would have liked something similar to the original origin. Heck, it looked like some kind of what's the reptile's name? Some kind of like a Komodo dragon, if you will, kind of like a female mutant that was shown in one of the, I guess you could say, towards the end of one of the episodes. It was like a female Komodo dragon mutant. She was like wearing a kind of like a hat, a fedora, if you will, kind of like almost like she was like a detective kind of deal, like for hire or something like that. We're not really sure, and a lot of people speculated that could have been Mona Lisa. So obviously that wasn't the case, but it was that speculation that, okay, there's this female lizard that got shown. Is this Mona Lisa, or is this someone entirely different? And obviously it was someone totally different. It was someone totally different, and again, that was to be expected, with this show. So when the revelation at San Diego Comic-Con was that she was going to finally appear, but she was going to be a Salamandrian warrior. Her real name was going to be something you can't really pronounce, so Raphael was going to give her this, and then that's how it's going to happen. It's like, okay, cool, we could take that. We're cool with that. There's no problem. As long as we get Mona Lisa in somehow, some way. And, I know honestly, there's some people that are okay with Mona Lisa being here. And then there are some that are like, really? This is how you're bringing Mona Lisa in? You're not even going to try to stay true to her origins? To her original origins or anything? Let me explain something, folks. Hold on. Let me explain something to you. If you don't know by now, like I just mentioned, that this show takes characters and concepts and throws them into a mixture, into a blender, and just mixes them up and says, okay, let's see what we come up with and go with that, then where have you been? I mean, have you not noticed what they did with April and Casey and Karai? And even the fake teenage Irma? I mean, hello, the teenagers here. Do you not see that they have Donatello, of all people, crushing on, and maybe even vice versa, with April? Do you not see the fact that Leonardo's got feelings for Karai, who, oh, by the way, in all other incarnations, was never mutated, and yet she's mutated into a freaking snake, a shape-shifting snake that can go back from snake to human? Did you not see that? Did you not see that, oh, I don't know, they freaking killed Splinter off, if not temporarily, at the end of the 3rd season finale? Did you not see that? Because if you did not see that, then obviously you don't understand exactly what's going on here. And what's going on here is the fact that this series is completely different. Completely different than what you expect. I mean, basically, it is a mixture, from what I could tell, of everything that was good about Ninja Turtles from the past incarnations, mixed in with a little bit of originality, and that originality coming from the fact that things are happening that you wouldn't expect to happen. Catch my drift? So yeah, if you're upset that they didn't stick somewhat true to the original origins of Mona Lisa, maybe have some kind of similarity in design, then you are kidding yourself. Just look at it this way. Be glad she's in it. Be glad Mona Lisa's in it. And remember one other thing. This is an alternate TMNT universe. How do we know? Because 2 seasons ago, they had some kind of episode where you had the 80 Turtles in it, not crossed over yet. And now you have the 80s Turtles and these Turtles getting ready to meet up in a crossover eventually. Whether it's animated or CGI is totally up to Nickelodeon. So that's going to happen. So you got to realize it is an alternate universe. It is an alternate universe. Similar, but different. Just like with Turtles Forever kind of depicted that the 2003 Turtles was similar, but different from their original Mirage counterparts. So to me, I can understand that some people are a little frustrated at the fact that, yeah, she's here and it's nice, but why did they do it this way? And again, it's to showcase that this is a different Turtles series, different universe and everything. Same characters, name-wise, are showing up, just different designs and different origins. Do we agree with them? No. Do some of us have mixed reaction to them? Yes. But at least this is basically them saying, okay, we're going to give you what you want, but it may not technically be the way you want it, but just be glad it's there. So that's the way I look at it, which is why I said at the end of the last Animated Girl Profiles that if we can get another character in there, we got to get Ninjara somewhat in that series. Ninjara, hashtag Ninjara for Nick TMNT. So I think that would be great to see. But anyway, getting back to Mona Lisa, because I know it went a little off track here. Mona Lisa's stories, her origin stories, are really different, and I mentioned this in that response video to Black Nerd Comedy. Her origin stories are different. I mean, the fact that here she's part of the Salamandrian warrior race, and yet in the other one she was just a normal college student that got mixed up with some kind of chemicals, radiation, whatever you want to call it, and she got turned into the salamander lizard that she was there. Now, big difference, right? Big difference. Now, is she going to be a permanent part of the cast? Is she going to be brought to Earth? Are they going to disguise her, maybe give her a wig that's similar to her hairstyle of the original Mona Lisa? Maybe, maybe not. We don't really know. But again, getting back to what I was talking about earlier, and I was connecting the USB cord from my camcorder to the computer so it could upload the videos. Which the response is one of them. Like I was mentioning there, Mona Lisa was originally, penciled in to come back in the 8th season. She was. And like I said, I can only assume it would be around the Cry of Havoc episodes, the Havoc episodes, if you will, that took place in the middle of season 8, the first of the Red Sky seasons. So I'm guessing that's when she was supposed to make her return. Now, why was she scratched out? I don't really know. I'm guessing maybe they just didn't want to overuse her. Maybe they felt there was no need for her. I don't really know. But yeah, it's kind of surprising to find out that she was supposed to originally be in the 8th season, in the first of the Red Sky seasons. Would her design change a little bit? I'm assuming her hair might have... I'm assuming this, just by, I think, some fan art. I'm assuming that her hair might have been grown out a little bit, like maybe to her shoulders now. To where, okay, she had some kind of like ponytail or something, but it'd be more like straightened out, more like grown out a little bit, maybe shoulder length, a little over the shoulders. I'm not really sure. But I'm thinking that's what would have happened. Maybe she would have had a little bit of eyeshadow, maybe, or something given to her. Maybe she would have something else, like maybe she would have a sash or something. I can't really say, but I would assume her design would change up a little bit, be familiar, be similar, but be changed up a little bit. Like I said, I can only guess what they would have done. But yeah, it's disappointing that she got penciled out because I think a lot of fans would have liked to see her come back. Unfortunately, what happened was she was taken out of the equation. Any chance of Ninjara showing up in the series as well, along with her Mighty Mutant Animals cartoon series, was thrown out the window, and what we got instead was a character named Carter. So, who obviously is a character that not many fans were happy to see, and were glad that he left towards the end of the last season. So, yeah, one of those situations. But to me, Mona Lisa I thought was a good character. As a matter of fact, on my WWE 12 game, which I can't access anymore online because I know I did upload her, I created a Mona Lisa character. And you can check that out here on my channel. I have a match with her and Game Boy Sage against each other. You can check that out on my channel. And I did the best I could, and I thought, honestly, I did a decent job. And this was at a time I found out that fans wanted to see her in this new cartoon series. But it's also when I started to see more and more, because, be quite honest with you, when I lived in Kansas and everything, I did notice that there was a fan base out there that wanted Mona Lisa back. So I knew about it, but I didn't know it was so strong to the point that fans would write in and say, hey, you got to do something, you got to do this, you got to do that. And now you got it. And again, it may not be the way some fans want, but at least it's happened. But when I look at Mona Lisa, I look at a character that I think had they continued on and maybe taken a page out of the Archie playbook, which may have been a year or two late, I think she would have made a great addition to the team, because it reminds me a lot of the Good Times, Bad Times episode of Rescue Rangers and the ending. The ending indicates that Foxglove was a part of the Rescue Ranger team, or was becoming one. But we never got any conclusion, we never got any kind of connection. We just assumed at the end of that episode that she became a part of the team, or as the Boom Studio comics put it, sort of an ranger in training, sort of like an ally to be called upon when they need somebody. So that's what I'm thinking. That's my guess. And that's what I look at with Mona Lisa. It's like they indicated that maybe she was going to be part of the team, or maybe be an ally that they can call upon. I mean, heck, it took up to the second to last episode for them to bring in Casey Jones into the Red Sky seasons in what would be his only appearance. And that was it. He was gone after that. So, to me, Mona Lisa, I look at this character and I'm like, I'm glad, honestly, that she's back. I'm sort of okay with her origin story being what it is, because you do have to remember, this is a different take on the Turtles. It's a different dimension. So I'm cool with it. I'm okay with it. So overall, though, Mona Lisa has definitely proven, like several other characters that had one-shot appearances, female or not, that if you're popular enough and you leave such an impact on the fan base, even by one appearance, you just might be able to come back in some capacity. And again, if you don't believe me, take a look at Boom Studios' Rescue Rangers, and you'll see Tammy and Foxglove back. Foxglove more so than Tammy. So, that's all I'm going to say, folks. Hope you enjoyed this edition of the Animated Girl Profile Confidential on Mona Lisa. Let me know what you guys think down below of her changes and stuff. And what do you think they should do if they keep her around and maybe bring her to Earth